Hey Menlo students, it's Mary. Welcome to my patio. I'm pretty tired of being indoors. You're probably pretty tired of being socially isolated. We want you to know that even if you're in isolation, you are not alone. And if you want to get connected to a life group and learn a little bit more about your youth group, text the word CONNECT to the number 650-600-7456, and you will find out a little bit more about what's going on with Menlo students and get connected even in this time of isolation. We get to go into a time of worship right now, and even though worship is usually a time where we're singing together at church, we're all going to be in different places. But I encourage you still to sing, because this is a time where your song is a personal prayer to God. This is a song about God being bigger, being even bigger than we think He is, bigger than our problems, bigger than everything going on in the world today. So you might be dealing with anxiety, you might be dealing with boredom, you might be dealing with loneliness or isolation, the uncertainty of our time. But guess what? God's bigger than all of that. And He wants to show His love by taking all of that on Himself. So I encourage you to have a posture of surrender right now as you sing. Maybe you want to hold your hands open as though you're offering all of that to God, because you know that He's bigger.
Speak to me when the silence steals my voice. You understand me. You understand me. Come to me in the valley of unknowns. You understand me. You understand me. You understand me, God. You understand me. So I throw all my cares before you. My doubts and fears don't scare you. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. So I stop all negotiations with the God of all creation. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought you were. I will rest in the Father's hands. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. I will rest in the Father's hands. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. I will rest in the Father's hands. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. I will rest in the Father's hands. Leave the rest in the Father's hands. So I'll throw all my cares before you. My doubts and fears don't scare you. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. So I stop all negotiations with the God of all creation. You're bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought. You're so much bigger than I thought you were. You're bigger than I thought you were.
What's up, Menlo students? Hey, I'm so pumped that you're here to join me tonight. My name is Zach Porter. Welcome into my home. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Never thought I'd be doing this, but I wanted to start tonight with a question. Do you know what this is? I'm going to bring it a little closer. Yeah, do you know what this is? It's important to me that you know what this is. If you know what this is, type it in the comments, type it in the chat right now. What you think this is. The reason I bring this up is because I have a feeling that there's a good amount of you that have maybe stopped using this during quarantine. And if that's true, take this as a sign. Pick this thing back up. But I bring this up because, first off, this is a toothbrush. It's important to me that we all know what this is. It's a toothbrush. The second reason is I want to ask you what the purpose of a toothbrush is. You're probably thinking to yourself, that's pretty obvious, Zach. Why would you ask me that question? Well, here's the thing. According to Wikipedia, the purpose of a toothbrush is to clean your teeth, tongue, and gums. And you would think the purpose of a toothbrush is really obvious. But unfortunately, sometimes the purposes of things get mixed up. Sometimes you don't know what the purpose of a thing is. Well, this past week, I was sent a video by our worship pastor, Tatiana, at the San Jose campus. Here it is. It's right here. Boom. Check it. This cat is using the toothbrush. It's so important to me that everybody sees this moment and says, that's really gross. I show you that video because I want you to know that the purpose of a toothbrush is not to clean a cat's teeth, tongue, or gums. It's to clean ours. And sometimes, if you don't know the purpose of something, you're likely to abuse it or misuse it. In fact, write that down. If you don't know the purpose of something, you're likely to abuse it or misuse it. We've all been given the gift of time lately. Am I right? Suddenly we've got all the time in the world to do anything. Everything, actually. All the TikToks you wanted to learn how to do. Read your Bible. You could do that if you wanted. Strong encouragement from a pastor. Video games. You can play all the video games. You can talk to your family, your parents, your siblings, and a lot more than you used to. Trust me, there's an endless amount of things that you could be doing. And last week, we learned a little bit about some ways that we can keep connected spiritually. But I want to offer tonight, why? Why would we do these things? What is the purpose of this time in quarantine? Why would we want to be doing these things? And the reason I bring that up is because I think a lot of young people ask that question a lot, and they sometimes verbalize it, sometimes just keep it deep down, and they're constantly wondering, what is the purpose of this? So that's what we're going to answer tonight, is what is the purpose of this time? One of my favorite pastors and leaders, Miles Monroe, once said this: the greatest tragedy in life is not dying, but it's living without purpose. And tonight I'm going to offer an answer to that question. What is the purpose of this time? I believe our purpose is to spread hope. Everybody type that in the chat right now. Go for it. Do it right now. Type it. Spread hope. Because that's what we're going to be about. That's who we are. You know, Jesus was one of the best ever at spreading hope. And the reason I tell you that is because in Matthew chapters 8 and 9, Jesus goes around and he just starts just healing people and performing a ton of miracles, and communities start being filled with hope. And in Matthew chapter 9, verse 18, a man comes to Jesus and says this. He says, "My daughter has just died." That's a pretty heavy moment. And instead of staying with his daughter, instead of trying to just mourn her death, he goes to Jesus and says this. He says, "My daughter has just died, but come and lay your hand on her and she will live." Listen to that hope. This man comes to Jesus full of the hope that he will save her. Full of that hope that we believe that is just necessary for us to live right now. I know it can be really, really hard to be maybe stuck in a hard situation where you're in a home and you might not want to be there, or you have a family member that is isolated and you just really wish you could be there with them. Or maybe you even know somebody who has had the coronavirus and passed away. It can be hard to feel hope. But believe me when I tell you that Jesus was the greatest of all time at spreading hope. And that's why a man like that can come to him in that season when he hears that his daughter has died and he goes straight to Jesus. That's why we spread hope. Because like what Brett said last week, that as followers of Jesus, we are called to live as though every moment Jesus were me. Live every moment as if Jesus were living as you. That's what we're called to do as Christians. We are called to live like that. And so that means that we live by spreading hope. We live to spread hope. That's why I would tell you that our purpose is to spread hope during this season. So now, how do we do that? Good question. I'm glad you asked. I'm going to flip over to Mark chapter 10, verse 45 and listen to the words of Jesus. We just established that Jesus has called us to follow him, to live by spreading hope. And that's what Jesus has done. And in Mark 10, verse 45, Jesus says this about himself. He says, "For even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve." Well, why do I bring that up? Because one of the best ways, I believe probably even the best way for us to spread hope is to serve people around us, serve our community. And if serving wasn't below Jesus, it's certainly not below me. And so tonight, I have two challenges for us. The first is to serve someone near to you. Serve someone that's near to you. In fact, I have a story from our San Jose campus. We have a student named Maddie who at the beginning of quarantine decided that she wanted to find a way to serve her community. So she started raising money to support local bakeries, and using the money that she raised, she bought a bunch of cookies and things from the bakery and took them to the hospitals in our San Jose area and decided to donate them to nurses and people who work on the front lines. Isn't that awesome that someone would take the initiative, that would go in front of everybody else, a student, someone just like you? And so I want to encourage you, if you want to partner with Maddie or even think of something on your own that can serve your community, find a way to serve someone that's near to you. Trust me, there are people around you that have just incredible needs, and you could be the one to meet them. My second challenge tonight is to love people that are near to you but far from God. Love people that are near to you but far from God. How do we do that? I'm glad you asked. Well, that's why I have this whiteboard. I'm super pumped. I bought a whiteboard for this one reason, so I hope it's worth it. First, what I want to invite everybody to do is I want you to break out a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil and do this. Draw a circle with your name right in the middle of it. And then I want you to think about the challenge I just gave you. Think about it. Think about people who are near to you but far from God. Maybe it's somebody that's in your science class. I hope I spelled science right. It's been a minute. Science class. Maybe you have somebody in your science class that you know is near to you but far from God. Or maybe that somebody sits at your lunch table. I'm positive I spelled lunch right because Still been doing that. But listen, I also think that this is beyond just people you might know at school. Maybe it's somebody that you know on Instagram. Maybe it's somebody you know on Instagram or on, I don't know, TikTok, probably. That's my go-to. Obviously, we've established that. But listen, maybe it's somebody that's in your family. Maybe it's a cousin that you have that you know is near to you but far from God. And the reason I say it like that is because I think it's just so simple for all of us to understand, man, I have people in my life that need hope. That need hope. And these people, they need hope. And as followers of Jesus, we believe that we are called to spread hope. That's what our purpose is during this time. And it's honestly our purpose during every time. But now, more importantly than ever, our purpose is to spread hope. So that's my challenge to you guys. First, serve someone near to you. Second, love people that are near to you, but far from God. Oh, and brush your teeth. That's also up there. Brush your teeth. Go do that.